is my website, tedcan.com. I think it's pretty easy to navigate. You go to our class page. I get work in two places, so you want WCC, click on Elements of Geometry, and then you want to go to Technology Assignments. And at this moment, I realize that I do need to update the calendar because there's nothing listed here. This assignment will be due in 2 weeks, so you have until the 19th to complete it. Honestly, I put this assignment together about an hour before class. So it took me about a half an hour to type up the instructions on how to complete the assignment. So my guess is once you get to the point where you're comfortable navigating through GeoGebra, which is the website you're going to be working through, you're not going to have trouble completing this. Right? You should be able to even complete it tonight. So there's no reason why you should be waiting until the 2 weeks. The end of the 2 weeks. Do not put this one off. Don't put off tech assignments. You'll take traditional assessments in this class, but we talked about this before. It's not going to be like traditional. It's just it'll count as a test grade. But the technology assignments are how you're going to beef up your average, and you're going to learn stuff through the process, valuable things through the process, but it's also going to be a nice way to kind of improve the old stats. All right. So click on Technology Assignments, and then you'll see that there's only one there. Measurement. All right. The objective behind this one is strictly measurement. I tried my best to make sure that these links were active. They were as recently as 5:15 this evening. So it should be fine. Each one of these links provides you with a tutorial on how to use the functions, although I would say it's very straightforward once you actually get into the GeoGebra app. So the first step in the process, go to geogebra.org and create an account. All right, so geogebra.org. Just straight up geogebra.org. Click sign in. It'll give you an option to create an account. That's what you want to do. All right. I recommend signing up using a login from one of these resources. I recently found out that I have used the same password 164 times for 164 different things online. And I got that alert through Google saying, you may want to vary your password because one of your accounts was hacked, and so therefore that means they all were because you're a schmo who uses the same username and password for everything. All right, so that took me about a solid 2.5 weeks to update. I realized I was subscribed to a lot of things that I didn't really want to be subscribed to. This is a good way to handle that because if you have one of these services, just link it to that so you don't have to worry about creating a new username and risk that. Like GeoGebra is a reliable resource, but that doesn't mean it's impervious to being hacked. All right, so if they get your credentials from GeoGebra, they got it for whatever else it's you use that information for. All right, but at least if it's coming from Google, they'd have to infiltrate Google in order to get that information. All right, so that's what I did. I used my login from Google, so that's how I'm going to sign in. So sign in, I'll just do an existing account from Google. I got to put my creds in. And this may be why I keep getting hacked. Because I keep creating videos of me logging in and stuff. Although they shouldn't be able to get the password, but you never know. So then you're going to click on the waffle, but I'll do a little split screen action here. Well, at least I'll try to. Trying to. All right, a little split screen, making sure that this is still going. All right. So then click on the little waffle and go to the one that says geometry. I think that part's common sense. So you have all these basic tools at the bottom, and you have a blank space to work in. All right, so it's not like a regular graph. If you go to some of the other functions, they'll have like X, Y axes and stuff like that, like a function-based class where you plots slopes and y-intercepts and things along those lines. This is not that. All right, this is pure geometry. So what we want to do, and I'll just take you through the basics of it because it's very, very straightforward. We just want to get a sense of the functionality of it. So we're going to create a triangle. So to do this, we're just going to plot 3 points. So use the point tool, and a little pop-up comes up, which is really nice. By the way, if you do this with full screen, I have it on split screen, so I could see both. But if you do it on full screen, then the toolbar is going to come up on the left-hand side, right? But it's going to work pretty much the same. But when you click on whatever the function is, it tells you what you need to do with that information. So that part is pretty easy. The only thing that I've ever struggled with is if I plot 3 points and then I want to maybe move some of the points around. Like if I still have the point tool on and let's say I want to move point B, I'll do this. That's fine. But if I even slightly miss, it'll create a new point. You're like, oh crap, I didn't want that. And then, now I got more. Undo. Whoever created that is the best person ever. As a rule of thumb, I tend to default after I use a function back to the move icon because then it's not going to plot anything. All right. If I want to do a mass delete, I'll hit more. There's an option for select objects. I can highlight them all in one shot and delete them, which I don't want to do. I just want this one, so I could do it that way. All right. Now, if I want to create a triangle out of this, there is no triangle function. There's something even better. It's a catch-all. Polygon function will create a geometric figure, a closed geometric figure, depending on the number of vertices that you indicate. If you have a regular polygon, that's when you get like what we were talking about in the lesson: squares, squares, hexagons, pentagons, octagons, and so on. All right. But if I want to just connect points, I'm stifling a sneeze here. It was right in the middle. Could have gone either way. I wanted it to come, but it went back in. And now I'm going to have that eye ache for like the next hour and a half. Oh. Anyway, select the polygon function. It tells you. Select all vertices, then first vertex again. That's the thing people forget, and they can't understand why they're going wrong. So start with A. I'm not clicking anything. I clicked A, and now I'm just dragging the mouse. Once I get to B, it locks in. Click again. Then I get to C, and you see it's sweeping through that area. That's what I was talking about before. That's one of the powerful things about GeoGebra. You see how there's that little edge there. It's not officially an edge because it hasn't locked in yet, but you could see as you're sweeping through this area, as your angle at B is increasing, you see that line segment, that would-be line segment is getting longer and longer. So it really supports what we're learning in class, which is really cool. When you get to C, it locks in, click. Now you're not done, you got to go back to where you started. Otherwise, it might think that you want to create a quadrilateral or something. So I get to A, and I click. And now I have a triangle. If you want to do a quadrilateral, and that's all I'm asking you for that. All right. Recommendation, especially after you do something fairly complicated, save your work. All right. This is not complicated. If your whole system crashed and you had to do this part of it over again, you're not crying. You get down to something like this, and you got to do it all over again, you're a little aggravated. All right. Right at the end of the assignment, I have instructions on how to save your file. So you know what? No time like the present, then I'll carry on. You did something, why not save it? So click on the main menu, go to save, title it. So when I type in your last name, I expected, and I apologize for having to say this, I'm looking for your last name, all right? The number of people who've submitted an assignment that was titled your last name, it boggles my mind. So, all right, that's my last name. This is Tech A. It's Tech Assignment A for everyone. This is the course Geo, Elements of Geometry. It is not fall/spring. It's just spring, so I'll edit that. And then I'll put the particular year. All right. So you're just making it particular to you. All right, leave it on shared. Oh, shared should be fine, but the safer bet is to put it on public. All right, nobody's going to judge you for your work. There's a GeoGebra community, and what people, yeah, it's weird. Like, what'll happen is if you go searching for something, if you wanted to see how you could make like a three-dimensional figure, you type it in, and you'll see everybody's work, and you'll see the community, and people comment on other people's work, and you can copy other people's work and save it and edit it and stuff like that. That part is kind of cool, but it's kind of weird to think that there's like a nerd universe of geometry out there, but there is. We like it. It's our world. Anyway, quadrilateral, so 4 points. So anywhere you want. I don't have any particular requirements, because something I should point out, once you create your polygon, you could drag any point anywhere you want and make a new figure out of it, right? And we'll actually do some stuff with this down the line, right? The basic tools, one of them is polygon, so you can grab it up here. Just go around your figure in consecutive order, because, for example, I'll show you. If I went E, F, and then I try going to D, and then G, it comes up with that. That's not a quadrilateral. All right, that, I don't even know what that is. I mean, it's two opposing triangles, so that's not right. All right, you want to go in consecutive orders. You want to go a consecutive order. You want to go outside the perimeter, either counterclockwise or clockwise. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're consistent. All right. So there's our quadrilateral. All right. Next up is a square, and you don't have to label anything. I'll know what's what. That's fine, as long as all the basic ingredients are there. If you want to have an organizational strategy to it, that's fine. I'm going left to right, top to bottom. Next one's going to be a square. A square is a regular polygon. You only need 2 points for a square. When we get to actually constructing squares using compasses, you'll see what I mean by that. There's a particular way to handle it, and there's actually a compass built in here. So what you do is you can see I click on regular polygon, select 2 points, and enter the number of vertices. All right, so I'll go I to H, and then it asks me how many vertices. Well, if it's an octagon, I want 8 vertices. If it's a 20-gon, I would have a 20 in there. But a regular quadrilateral is a square. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides, 4 angles, 4 vertices. So okay, there's my square. And then after that, you'll do the same thing, but with an octagon. All right. So then we get into sides and lengths. So I'll just take you through. I'll do one of them. In my example here, I did the triangle. So I'll do this quadrilateral. Just so I vary it up. We're working with the measurement tools. All right. So the measure tools, we start off with distance or length. Very simple. Just select 2 consecutive points, and it'll give you the length. Do it again. So F to G, it'll give you the length. G to D, length. D back to E, it'll give you the length. All right, I'm going to click on the move because this stuff is overlapping. I want to clean it up, so I'm going to drag and drop a little bit, just to make it look a little nicer. All right. Next up is angles. So still in the measure, you have the option for angle and then angle with a given size. You might think it's this one because it says size, but that means that you're indicating what the size is. The first one, angle, is the one where you're asking it to tell you what the size is. So this is the function that you want, and it's all detailed here. All right, so it is right in this process. Click on the angle tool and select each trio of vertices in your triangle for, number 1 in consecutive order. So that's what this example is, but I'm going to do the quadrilateral. So, for example, I'll start with E, and I'll work my way to G. There's a measure of that angle. I'll do the same thing going from F to G to D. There's an angle. G to D to E, another angle. And then D to E to F, an angle. So now I just want to move things around, clean it up. I like to get my angles inside the figure. It's not a requirement, but since I have the sides on the outside, it kind of makes sense to get the angles on the inside. Last but not least, slash the easiest out of all of them, would be the area. This one is it's a nice way to finish. Select area, and then just click in the space in the figure, and it'll tell you what the area is. Now that one, I think, let me just double check. Yeah, as far as I know, that one, oh no, it's not locked in. So, but you do have a limited field for where you could move it, because it moves it in like a circular area around. So, like, it's kind of hard to position it in a way that it's not going to be overlapping with something else. But if you play around with it, you can get it in a good spot. All right. But the reason why I have you doing this is because it really doesn't matter what the length of your side is, or the sides are, where you plot your points, because you can tweak this any way you want, and it's going to change your line segment lengths, it's going to change the angles correspondingly, and then therefore it's going to change the area that goes along with that. All right, so this is a nice way of getting a sense of the relationships that exist within geometric figures without having to draw them out every single time. All right, so not bad at all. It's a good way to get started in a course for if you have to do an assignment. This is not the worst case scenario, I promise you. All right, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, but this is where we're going to leave it for tonight. And so there won't be any group activity for the end, because this is your assignment for the time being. All right, so again, this is you have 2 weeks for this. I'm going to put this on that calendar that I was talking about.